Hello. Okay, we are live. Hi, this is Erin Morgan. I am the editor-in-chief of Eye Care Business Magazine, and I am here today live streaming for our Eye Care Business live stream series for Eye Care Business Magazine. And I am very honored to be here today with both Dr. Darryl Glover and Dr. Adam Ramsey. And welcome and thank you both so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're super excited to hang out with you today, Erin. We want to, make history with you, and we're going to have a good conversation, some good dialogue that's going to really help unify the eye care industry, but take it to the next level as well.
Absolutely, and I think everybody's, we're ready for that next level for sure in the eye care industry, and so, to our viewers that are here. Feel free to type in your comments into the comment bar in Facebook and in YouTube. And you can please tell us who you are, where you're from, what practice you're with, and feel free to type in your questions as we move along. We'll have definitely have a Q&A session time once we get through our list of questions with Darryl and Adam here. But feel free to go ahead and type in your comments along the way. And we like to do kind of a, really interactive back and forth with our viewers while we're live streaming. But we are here today, as you all know, to discuss the Black Eye Care Perspective that Dr. Darryl Glover and Dr. Adam Ramsey have launched, and also their amazing, the 13% promise that was launched last week, the end of last week. And we're very honored to, bring more information to the industry about that important initiative. And, really are so glad to be here with you both today to talk about that. So thank you again. And can you just tell us, just to kick it off for people that, may not know yet, since it is a new initiative, what is the 13% promise? It's incredibly inspiring, and I think it's an attainable benchmark for our industry. Can you please tell us a little bit of the focus and how you both were inspired to launch it?
Well, I think before we jump into the 13% promise, what I'm going to do is just kind of give you an overview of Black Eye Care Perspective. And then I'm going to let this young man beside me break down that 13% promise, because he knows it inside and out. And this is his brainchild, his baby that he wants to really put out there in the world. But in regards to Black Eye Care Perspective, our main thing was just really creating authentic dialogue with Black physicians in regards to implicit bias, organizational structure, and policies which can really lead to a lack of diversity, but also exclusion. So with this organization, Adam and I really wanted to hit it with a three-pronged approach. And the first thing was to really increase the number of leaders of Blacks addressing the biases in the executive positions and really in eye care, but to also help just, have more equity and more inclusion within eye care with various companies or within just a private practice of some sort. And then lastly, we really wanted to tackle talking to non-minority optometrists that practice in heavily Black populations and educate them on how to have better dialogue with the Black community, whether it's talking about systemic diseases, whether it's talking about or having products such as the right style frames, the right size frames, certain ocular aesthetic things that the Black community likes, but just really give them the resources and also the dialogue to be able to have a better conversation. For me personally, what inspired me, it was, we could say on the date of April 25th, 2017, my son was born. And with my son, over the generations, my father has always, my father had a conversation with me, and his father had a conversation with him, and his father had a conversation with him. And yes, we had the birds and the bees and all that other jazz, but there was a conversation that in the Black community we always have. And that was the conversation about racism. And I feel like we're at that point where we don't need to have that conversation again. And my goal was to be able to form an organization that could change the narrative in regards to that. So when my son, he's 3 now, when he gets, to the certain age where I had that conversation with my father, which was probably around 7 or 8, I don't want to have that conversation with him. I want to be able to tell him something different. And I feel like with Black Eye Care Perspective, being that we spend a lot of time at work, this is the place where we should have an impact, because if you can do it at work and you spend 8-10 hours a day with the folks that you work with, when you go home, you're going to have that same feeling, that same mindset, and it's going to be.
Oh, we lost him.
We lost Darryl. So I'll pick up where he was going. So
thank you, Adam. He'll be back.
People in here, don't worry about it.
There he is.
Back in.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. All right, we're here.
Yeah, but that was really in a nutshell. Just basically, I want to be able to change the industry, change not just our industry, but the healthcare industry. And this is a good starting point for us in eye care.
Absolutely. So, and was Black Eye Care Perspective launched in 2017? The same, is it about 2-3 years old?
2 years old. So the following year, 2018.
Okay.
So we kind of saw each other. I tell you, so I saw Darryl crushing it online, and I saw his energy online and said, I had never seen another person that looked like me go harder than me. And when I saw that, I literally reached out to him easily. I literally reached out to him. Hey, man, I love what you're doing. Let's see if we can work together. And he said,
that's wonderful.
Sure. And a couple months later, we met in Orlando. And literally, we've been talking to each other every day after that. It was nothing but love. It was nothing but energy. And when you can find like energy, you hook up to that. And our iron sharpens iron. So I saw what he was doing. And then we just sit down and just have a conversation about, hey, man, when we go to conferences, a lot of times we're the only people of color that we see. I can go to a conference, I can go to Vision Expo and walk around that whole exhibit hall, and I'll see 2 Black people the whole day. Thousands of people there, I'll see 2 Black people. And I was like, you know what? If we got like energy, what can we do if we put it together? If we put our minds together, how can we make an impact? How can we make change? And after we started Black Eye Care Perspective, we realized that we needed to do more, because we weren't just about barking at an issue, but we want to make sure we change the issue. And I think sometimes in eye care, we don't realize our own faults. We don't realize what's going on in our industry. We see what's going on in the world, and we see that, and they don't realize in our own backyard we have issues too. So we start doing our digging. And
that's amazing.
Our digging showed us that in eye care, if you go on the ASCO website, we have the numbers to back it up. African Americans have only been represented at 3% in optometry from 2007. Those are the numbers I could see on the ASCO website easily, but it's been about the same. African Americans make up about 13% of the U.S. population. So there's a 10% gap between what happens in the U.S. and what do we have in eye care. And you can go to the faculty at schools. 3% African Americans. The same thing across the board. So we wanted to come out and say, you know what? What could we do if we assisted companies to get to that 13%? Because we're not just about asking you guys and companies and industries that get to 13%, but not give them the tools, not give them the ways to do that. And
right.
We're about asking, say, hey, who is going to pledge? Who is going to sign up to say that we want to get to 13%? We want 13% of the students in eye care to be African American. We want 13% of the faculty. We want 13% of the executive boards, because the hard part is if you don't have diversity at the top, it's going to be very difficult to have diversity down below. And even if you have diversity down below, if there's nobody at the board seats that makes decisions that is diverse, it's going to be very difficult for that company to continue to push that envelope and to see the importance. And sometimes people don't realize is that diversity of thought, experience, life experiences adds to your organization, makes it a better organization. When you add women onto boards, it adds a flavor. It adds something that's different. When you add people of color onto your board, you're going to add something as well. And we want the eye care community to realize that we are missing out. There's a missing piece that needs to be addressed here. And we're asking for companies, organizations to sign up and say, we'll donate 13% of our donations. If you were already going to give out $100,000, we're not asking you to change, increase what you're giving out. We're just saying, make sure you give some to minority-run organizations. And who would sign up? And the ones that sign up, Black Eye Care Perspective wants to be there to help and educate you on how do we get to there? How do we make the bridge to go from 3 to 13% and the implementation? Because when we did the digging, we found podcast after podcast, presentation after presentation, webinar after webinar, packet after packet about diversity. So they've studied it and task forced it and talked about it until we're blue in the face. But you know what? It's not about talking about it. It's about saying, implementing. Where is it in your budget? How have you made it a priority? Because people keep saying to us that, oh, we didn't know. It has been shown. It is known. It is just a matter of the organizations not implementing the steps that needs to happen. And we're here to say, you know what? If organizations are struggling to implement, then we want to help in the implementation. We'll show you the stuff before, but you can find it pretty easily to know where we're going wrong in getting the up to 13%. We just need to know, do people pledge and promise to get to the 13% and allow Black Academic Perspective to help them in that implementation process?
For sure. Well, and if you look at, obviously, look at women in the industry and where that was even 10 years ago, the numbers are skyrocketed of, especially of women optometrists in eye care right now. So, and look at the graduating classes coming out of the optometry schools are predominantly women now. And that's been a huge change and a positive change, that's happened. Right. Because women used to be a very, very small percentage of the graduating classes. So it would be really great to see that diversity come through, in a similar manner. So when we're looking at this, there's kind of two pieces, right? So there's the optometry schools and the optometrists coming out to practice in eye care. And then there's the industry side of the supply side and the companies, the lens and the frame and the equipment and, all of the wheel, the cogs in the wheel that make things run. So from the optometry school side, how is that possible to kind of attract that person to come, to bring more diversity into the incoming classes in optometry school? What's needed there? What are some of the proactive ways that schools can and are, implementing change?
Yeah, that's a great question there, and I'll take the top of that. And I know Adam's going to follow up with some more because he has some exciting news that he wants to share today. I'll let Adam do all the exciting news. I do enough of that on my own, so this is his shine. But check it out, Aaron. This is the deal. The issue starts with the pipeline, right? Even before you look at the schools, you have to look at students that come to optometrists, right? Number one, the Black community, they don't get enough exposure by being seen by an optometrist or an eye care professional. So number one, we have to do a better job about getting in and getting our eyes examined, but we also need to have more understanding of the importance of an eye exam. That's one. Number two, all my colleagues that are not Black, I've asked them, how many times have you had a Black student come in and shadow you? I have not had one yet tell me that they've had anyone. So that's a problem. There's no reason for me to be able to have all the Black potential doctors come in and shadow me, and also all the potential Caucasian, Hispanic, or other doctors that come in and shadow me, but no one's taking any of the Black students that may have some interest. Are we not asking, just like we would ask all the other students, if they have an interest in healthcare? Are we not talking about how great optometry is? So it really starts with the pipeline in regards to people that are coming in, but also the schools. In the past, it seems like, with ASCO and other places, they just haven't done a good job in regards to recruiting. They're recruiting in the wrong places. And I don't know if they just don't have the right representation on the board or those committees to be able to go in the right places to make it happen. But I feel like they're kind of shooting in the dark. And, I got all the love in the world in regards to ASCO, but we just have to do a better job. And one of the main reasons why I chose PCO was because it seemed like they had a benchmark of always 10 or 12 Blacks that went to that school. And for me, it felt comfortable to be able to see myself and also have colleagues that I could rely on to answer any questions that I may have and made me feel at home as well. In regards to what we're doing and what we have going, Dr. Adam Ramsey, drum roll.
All right, so we have a plan. We did not start this. We didn't start today. Now, the George Floyd situation did bring a lot of attention to the plight of African Americans in this country. but we started this Black Eye Care Perspective 2 years ago and been working, and we have a plan and we're working the plan. So what we launched this week is that we're doing Impact HBCU, where this October, we're going to go to all 107 HBCUs around the country. And HBCUs stand for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And we are going to show eye care to all of those students. Now, not all of those students, or those schools have a pre-optometry club. Some of them may just have a medical science club, right? But that's where we're going to get some people that would have went into dental and would have went into medicine and would have went into pharmacy and say, come on over to the eye care team. And that's really what's missing, because right now, the recruiters for a lot of the schools, they go the easy route. They go to the pre-optometry clubs. They go to the schools they've always gone to. They've gone to Utah and BYU, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and get the same students and the same type of student year after year after year, because it's easy. It's easier, low-hanging fruit to say, I get 12 students from this school every year, so I go there every year. But you know what? A lot of the African Americans aren't getting into those schools. So if you don't make an effort to go out of your way or to change it, you're never preaching the message to those students. There's a lot of kids that have never had an eye exam. I know some people that are 30, 40 years old, never had an eye exam before. So if you've never been exposed to the profession, how can I expect them to even consider that as an option for them? Nobody's ever told them that it's an option for them. So we're doing what's called Impact HBCU, where we're going to be going to all 107 schools one day, preaching one message about come think of eye care. Come on over to the eye care industry. Look at this as an option for you. And we're going to be help create the pipeline. And
that's fantastic.
Getting the students in college, and then we're going to keep moving back, because you do have to. There are systemic reasons. There are not enough students in the schools. There are issues in high school, middle school, but we're going to start in college, then work our way backwards. We're not going to. This problem didn't start overnight, and it won't fix overnight. Our initiative is asking the companies to pledge to get it done by 2025. So we're giving ourselves a 5-year timeline to get this together. So we're going to be doing Impact HBCUs, and we're going to be trying to target those students and get them to look at eye care as an option for themselves and see how can we get them on our team and provide the resources to cultivate those relationships all along the way. So we're not just barking. We're not just complaining about an industry. We're saying we're willing to fix it, but can we get industry support? Can we get it as a priority? Because like you mentioned earlier, when we didn't have the pitiful job we did before with not having enough women in the industry, ASCO and all the other people said, hey, this is wrong. We need to have town halls about it. We need to have stuff about it. And we had a targeted plan to get women in eye care. So we went from 10 to now 70, 80% women. So their targeted plan worked in 10 years. You went from 10 to 70. So
amazing.
We can't go from 3 to 13. We can't push it up a little bit. You're telling me you can go from 10 to 70 with a targeted plan? Where is the plan for African Americans in optometry? And if you have a plan, who is actually following it? Who is holding them accountable for following it? And what consequence is it for them to say that they are not? That they're saying it's not, because it's in 2020, it would not be okay to say we have 10% women. It would not be okay. We would say that's wrong. That is a travesty that you guys have not made this profession acceptable. But
Adam, let me add one thing into there as well, Adam. That, you know, the one thing that we want everyone to realize is that we're not pointing fingers and saying you're the culprit, you're the culprit, you're the culprit, right? If you listen to what Dr. Adam Ramsey is stating right now, he's saying basically that we're taking responsibility as well, because we have to do our part also. And if we work together, we can make it happen. That's why we are putting ourselves on that front line. We are getting out there and going to those schools where there's a high Black population, and we're having that conversation, because when they see someone that looks like them, that's successful, that's in a great profession, because optometry is an incredible profession, you know, we're going to speak volumes of it. And when you have as much swag as us, you know, they're going to take that message a little bit more, unlike they would take it from someone that may be the historical optometrist, a Caucasian white male. So, you know, we know what we need to do. And as Adam had mentioned, we just want to partner with the industry and the schools to make this come to fruition.
Absolutely. And I can imagine that a lot of the schools, you know, would welcome that, you know, collaboration. I think that that's going to come naturally. And certainly I know it's a priority for many companies in the industry. So I imagine that that will be, something that will come kind of organically, for sure.
Aaron, let me tell you, we've heard from maybe a handful of schools, and it's 20-something schools.
That's
so we haven't
fantastic.
heard from enough. That to me, that's not fantastic. We need more.
It's a start, but
it's
yes.
a start, but this has been going on for a while. So we need more. And we're going to put the pressure on the industry. We're going to put the pressure on the schools because, again, we're about action. We want to see things take place. We don't want to talk in circles anymore, so we want to see some action take place. And again, we greatly appreciate you allowing us to have some time on your platform to really put these issues out there and let people understand what's going on. At my school, PCO, haven't heard from you guys. I'm calling you out personally. Let's make it happen.
For sure. Well, and that is great. And we're very happy to help spread the word and get the message out there because it's a fantastic message and a great initiative. And I have no doubt it will only grow. But so thinking about it, as our viewers, and I'm just going to give a quick shout out. We have Melanie Green here. She gives you guys 5 clapping hand emojis. And she says she's with CDA Vision Source. She says hello. Hi, Melanie. Thanks for joining us. And the question I have is, as our viewers and people are watching, maybe you're not the CEO of the company, maybe you're not the president of the school, but what can each of us do to help? What are some actionable ways, things that we can do? Do you guys have any ideas? Should you go to your company and say, hey, can I start, this initiative within the company or go to wherever you're an alumni of, to your school and say, this is a great initiative. We really support this. What are some ways that people can get involved?
You could be an ally. You don't have to be a person of color to realize that something is wrong. And the people in power have to give a voice to the voiceless. The ones that are in the positions of power have to then give an opportunity to other people. You can be in your company and just say, hey, I'm looking at our board and I don't see any diversity. What is our actual plan there? There's nothing wrong with it. You're asking questions. If nobody asks the question and nobody sees that anything wrong with it, it won't actually change. The one thing I wanted to get into was you had mentioned that we're talking about the schools, but what I would love to see is that the industry as a whole, as eye care professionals, could be different as well. And I would love to see frame manufacturers understand that it's too often that we're trying to force African Americans to fit into universal fit frames. It's too often we're not saying, hey, this needs to be created. Where is the pressure on these frame manufacturers to say, why do you not have frames that fit our bridge, that fit our head shape, right? Why do we always have to adjust the temples and adjust for the frames and bend them out, And when we broach that topic with people, we say, whoa, why do we need to have that? Well, hold on. We have Asian fit frames. So why do we have Asian fit frames? If everybody's universal, everybody isn't universal.
No way.
Yeah, we have kids. We have frames for kids. We have frames for adults. We have athletic fit frames. Yeah. Why not give something to the 13%? So our ask is also to the frame manufacturers to say, hey, where are the African American designed, not just for, because too often a lot of times stuff gets made for us, but put us at the table. We can have some African American people design the frames and make them styled for us. And where's the marketing? Where's the advertising materials? Why do we not see ourselves in there? Because there's a lot of things that can be done from a requesting standpoint, because the offices needs to request from Luxottica and from Marcolin and from Marchand and say, hey guys, you're giving me frames that don't fit my clientele. If we continue to try and make all these adjustments to the frames and heat the frames up and do all the stuff, we're not doing that. So sometimes you could just be an optician at an office and you can request from your rep to say, hey, can you pass this up the chain? And you know what? If they get enough requests, they will make it. They will design it. But we have to have enough people, not just the African Americans. We have to have everybody requesting to say, hey, I want to have products for my patient demographics. I want to have my OCT machine that was designed for glaucoma to actually be tested on African Americans. most of the OCT machines had almost no African Americans in their patient pool when they tested, is it good for glaucoma? Yet they touted for glaucoma, and African Americans have twice the chance of getting glaucoma than anybody else, yet they did not test the machines on African Americans. So how do you know what's going to work for my optic nerve and what's going to work for this patient population if you never did that? So you don't have to be in a position of power to request. You don't have to be in a position of power to raise your hand and say, hey, guys, where's the diversity? Hey, guys, where's the things for this patient population? Because some people have offices with 40, 50, 60% African Americans in their office. Mm-hmm. Where are the Asian fit frames? We're not selling enough Cocoa and Breezies around here. Shout out to Cocoa and Breezy. But there needs to be more. There needs to be more of a request. And when you do diversity, when you start with diversity, you can be more profitable. It's not just about philanthropic. It's not just about anything. If that's why at my office, I have 70% African Americans in my office, and we are crushing it. So you can make money catering to populations because they see themselves in the marketing. They see themselves in the frames. And I found all the few African American frame designers that I can find, and I have them for sale in my office. And they come in and they say, well, let me get 2 of those because I love that because the marketing material speaks to me and the frame fits so well. So it can be done. You don't have to be the CEO of a company to make change. You can just raise your hand and say, I want to do better.
That is a great, great idea. And it's really great feedback. And we got that comment. We have Sherry Froelich here. She also says that's great feedback on what you just said, Adam. And, that means telling your rep, telling, the company when you're making your orders, things like that, this is what we need. And certainly that's going to have an impact if a lot of folks are telling them, that that's a market need. And certainly it has to be, certainly it's a very specific fit and a specific need that's not really been addressed for sure. I mean, Asian fit has become such a huge part of collections these days, but that is a really great point and really good feedback. And that's a very simple way that you can make a change, help encourage a change with the frame companies for sure. So, all right, so this is great. And I just wanted to also mention and I'm sorry I didn't mention this in the beginning, but Adam, you have a practice in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And Darryl, you practice in Raleigh, North Carolina. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay. And what is the name of your practice, Darryl?
Well, I'm with my eye doctor in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, one of our biggest locations.
Oh, that's awesome. How fantastic. Yep. And Adam, what's the name of your practice in Palm Beach Gardens?
Socialite Vision.
I love it. And we did a great reopening tour when you reopened. We have a live stream on our Facebook page. If you search it, you can find Adam did a fantastic tour and showing us all his PPE and his new protocols and all the good stuff he's doing there. You don't have your shield on today. No.
I can breathe. I can breathe now. Oh man, it's rough, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it. I want to write like a little smiley face on there because faces are like, you look at that. I'm like, I'm smiling underneath the mask. You just can't see it.
Adam, you got to smile with your eyes.
That's
man. Smile with your eyes. People can see you.
My eyes are small, man. I got baby eyes, man. It's on people. I want to know: are you open? Are you sleeping? I'm like, I'm wide awake. It's just like
you got baby eyes and a big head. Is that what you got to do?
That's why I say you got to have customization with your frame lines, because if you look at me, you would think I have a big PD, but I know my PD is small, but I got a big head. It's a problem. I need special things over here. That's why I got a special hat. This hat costs me $50, but it's the only hat that can fit me. So I bought it. That's to tell you right now. If you got the right product, people will spend money for things that fit you. Because
I'm glad you mentioned that. It was actually my brother-in-law sent me a message today on Instagram, and he sent me this article where someone in New York was charging $1,200 for a haircut, and they had at least, I think, 200 people that was already signed up to make that.
Oh my gosh.
So again, as Adam had mentioned, if you have a product, the people will come, but you got to make sure that it matches the demographic of what you practice with. And a lot of these practices in the South, they have a high Black following. So you want to make sure that you have the right products and the right conversation with those patients to keep them held to the practice. But not just to keep them held to the practice, but to give them what they deserve, which is quality eye care. if you're not prescribing from the chair, if you're prescribing from the chair, but you have products that don't match the lens technology, then you're doing a disservice to our patients. I mean, why would you want someone walking out of your office with a frame that's bowed out or like this or doesn't work? Let's do something that's going to take the patient care to the next level, and let's make sure we have the right products, the right resources, the right conversation with that person that's in front of us. Let's put them on a pedestal. Let's treat them like we do our mom and dad, and just make sure we have everything we need to give them the ultimate eye care.
And the right marketing materials, because sometimes you can have frames and these companies want to tell me, oh, these frames fit. We have oversized frames. And I say, okay, give me some POP with African Americans on it. Oh, we don't have anything like that. Well, let me get some digital advertising, some HD images. I have digital displays in my office, so I'll just put that up. Or I'll print it myself. I say, just send me some pictures and I'll print it myself. And they'll go back and the rep will come back and say, sorry, Dr. Ramsey, we actually don't have any pictures. And I'm like, so you're trying to tell me you want to sell in my office with 70% African Americans in my office, and you can't get me one image with an African American face on it? And a lot of these companies can't even find one. So in my practice, I put up images in the waiting area, even in the exam room on one of the screens has digital displays that rotate. And people will see themselves. When they see the frame looking good on somebody else, they'll say, hey, I want Dr. Ramsey, that picture that just went by right there, do you have that in the optical? And I'll say, yeah, we have that in the optical. And I'll go over here. Or I'll tell them, I say, hey, this frame was designed by an African-American or designed for African-Americans. And they'll be like, really? And they put it on and they're like, oh, I've never went anywhere where I felt like the frames just fit me. I felt like they didn't have to go in the back and mangle them up. Or I saw myself in the materials. I saw myself in the poster. Every time I go into the other thing, I never saw myself. And that's where the comfort level comes in. And they say, you know what? I was only going to buy one, but you know what I'm going to buy today? Buy two. Or I'm going to buy three.
Yeah. Adam, what you're describing right now is basically the experience. Us as eye care professionals, we create an experience. And when we prescribe from the chair, that's a piece of the experience. But when they go to the optical, we're going to finish it up there. And again, if you don't have the proper POP, the proper resources, it's not going to, gel right with that community. And something else that Adam didn't share with you guys is that, this problem's been going on for a while. And in his office, he actually had to have his own photo shoot where he actually had to find Black models and bring frames on and get frames and put them on their faces so that the population that was coming into his office felt comfortable. And there's no reason why we pay X amount of dollars for frames to carry in our office and we can't get POP and we have to do extra work. So not only am I paying for that frame, but now I'm paying to do marketing for you guys as well. But I'm not getting the money that you guys are getting after we cash out on everything.
So Darryl gave a good suggestion. So when I first opened my office, I was only able to use the images that I got from other people. So I'm using the images, and it was not representative of my patient population. So I got an email from one of my patients. I got a few comments online, and I got a long email, like a 3-page email, saying, Dr. Ramsey, I expect better of you. You're a Black man in this community, and you're an upstanding guy in this community, and yet your website and your marketing doesn't represent that. I don't see myself in your marketing materials. And I almost want to figure out, do I fit there? Do you want me, or are you trying to push me out? And I had to sit back and I'm like, I emailed the person back and I said, listen, it is not my fault. I have asked. And the guy said, so why don't you do it yourself? And I had to sit back and I said, you know what? Okay, you challenged me. I got it. So I hired my own models. I hired my own photographer. I hired my own makeup artist. I partnered with clothing designers and jewelry designers. And we did an all-day photo shoot at my office, in the office, and outside in the park, everywhere to do the pictures. I do the pictures. I put them up online. Here's a twist now. I put it up online. The guy who sent the email before was like, oh my God, I didn't think you were really going to do that. You know what? He came in and bought 2 frames a week after I posted the pictures.
Wow.
You did it. I'm going to back you up. Now, here's a twist. I posted the pictures because those are the ones I took, right? So in the beginning, I only had mainly white people in my marketing because that's what I had to get from the companies. Then I turned around after I paid all this money for the photo shoot, and I would just drop a picture every other day from the couple of models that I had and all the stuff that we did. Then I get an email from some of my white patients, and they said, Dr. Ramsey, do you not want me at your office? Because now all the seeing is black people at the office. This is real. They say, "Are you trying to exclude me? Are you?" So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But you know what? I was able to show him, and I went back to the person that emailed me and said, "Listen, I have all of them at the office. You're looking at 2 days of pictures and got overwhelmed." I said, "A lot of my patients that are African American have never seen themselves. So now you're seeing a few days of pictures, and it is freaking you out. But can you imagine what it's like to be an African American and never see yourself?" So now he didn't see himself in the advertising, and it bothered him. And I said, "Hold on. Most of my black patients never see themselves in the advertising. So you don't see yourself in the advertisement for 5 days, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, Dr. Ramsey, what's up with all these black people in your pictures?" And I had, but I was able to have a frank, honest conversation because this was my patient. He had been my patient for a few years now. So I'm very blunt with my patients. They get it just how you getting it right now. This is just how they get it. And then we went back and forth. And you know what? He was like, "Thank you for enlightening me. Thank you for educating me." And he came back, and he's still my patient to this day. But we were able to have a discussion right in my exam room, right through an email to say, "Listen, we have to have it there." But I had to go out and do it myself, and it's a shame that I had to. But you know what? That's what we have to do, and I don't think it's fair that we have to go the extra mile. It's wrong that the industry doesn't want to provide it and doesn't see the value, because it's not where I'm not asking for a handout. You can be more profitable. That's what I can't get.
Yeah.
Figure out why they don't.
Well, I think by bringing up the issue and enlightening folks, it's just about education, and I think if they realize that that's what's needed, then that will help affect change. I mean, it's probably a slower process, but it's great that you did that, Adam. And I love that you did your own photo shoot, because we do a lot of photo shoots for Eye Care Business, and that sounds pretty fantastic. We might have to bring you in for our next fashion shoot.
I can do it though. I got the angles. I got the angles. I'm gonna send you the pictures. You let me know what you think of my angles, but I'm a creative director. The hat tells you that I got style.
So can we see those photos? Are they up on your website?
They are up on. Some of them are up on the website, and then I have more. So
what's your website?
Socialitevision.com. If you go on the website, you can see I'm in some of the pictures. So
you're in some of the pictures.
And then I went, all this style. I'm not going to pay all this money for photo shoot. And I get some pictures for myself. I got to get the camera,
But Aaron, I just want to make sure all the listeners and the viewers get one thing. We're not saying that you need to deck out your entire optical with black faces. But what you have to look at is really the demographic that you serve. If you serve 70% black population, and you're a non-minority doctor, then your POP needs to show that. Same with your team members in your office. You need to have that many people working in your office that have that background. And if you don't have that many, you should at least have the minimum of that 13% that we touched on. So you just want to make sure that you have a good representation that reflects who you see. But at the minimum, it should be 13% across the board.
For sure. Just like if you see kids, or if you have an Asian population in your demographic, then you need to have the right products and the right marketing and the right thing. And I think that's a great point to bring up, because I think a lot of folks, may not realize that or have that in play, for sure. And I just want to point people real quick to if anybody that's here, would like to check out more and learn more about all of this, if you could go to blackeyecareperspective.com. That's a fantastic resource. And I'm just looking at your 2025 goal under your 13% promise. And I just want to share a little bit of it, because I think it's so inspiring. So we've got 5 years here. And looking at, can we get there? 13% of students in optometry at identifying as African American, 13% of company speaker bureaus identify as African American, 13% of marketing budget spent on African Americans, 13% of executive level positions filled by African Americans, 30% of frame lines designed for and by, which we're talking about here. I love it. 13% of the faculty at colleges identify as African American. And then, as you mentioned earlier, 13% of donations going towards African American lead organizations, such as yours. So,
and then also
these are really productive things.
We don't want to leave out an organization that we're both part of, known as the National Optometrics Association, which has very strong in the Black community and minority community when it comes to eye care. They've done a lot of things in our community in regards to glaucoma, diabetes, hypertension, seeking to get more students in eye care as well. So they've been very instrumental in both of our careers. We were both students in optometry school, part of the National Optometric Student Association. I was actually president of my chapter.
Wow.
I don't know if you were at my level, you know what I'm saying? I stepped it up there.
I was a VP. I didn't get to the president level. I was a VP. I didn't get all the way up there.
All right. It's all good. It's all good, man. I still got love for you, man.
You guys are too funny.
Aaron, but one thing I wanted to say, Darryl mentioned saying, hey, if you have a lot of African Americans in your office, you need to have this. The next thing I would challenge you is that we got reached out by a couple of colleagues that said, we want to have more African Americans as patient base in our office. You know what? And if it's which come first, the chicken or the egg? Are you going to wait until your office grows with African Americans to bring in the frame lines and to change the marketing materials? Or are you going to change the marketing materials and then watch those numbers grow? Because they're reaching out and they're saying, Dr. Ramsey, how are you reaching those numbers? How are you doing that? And I say, listen, you have to have it before. So even if you're an office that doesn't have, say you're in a city where you don't have a lot of African Americans in your office, but you would like to cater to that community, you would like to provide the frames and the products for them, then you can go ahead and get it. Go ahead and get ahead, because you know what happens when that patient tries on the frame and loves the fit or loves the video or loves the marketing materials. They go back and they tell a friend and they post a picture and they tag and say, "Hey, this office has stuff for us." Because think about it, like I was talking to somebody else and I said, you know what? Offices that had plus size women's clothing, they went out and said, you know what? Are we going to make all the clothing fit this, or are we going to provide and cater to this? And the clothing brands that went ahead and made plus size women clothes, you know what women did? Well, they put it on and they were able to wear it without alterations. They say, this is the first time I was able to put something on and the outfits fit without alterations. You know what they did? They told their friend and said, hey, girl, that store over there, they got clothes for us. Oh my God, it's so well. Boom. Now all of a sudden their office gets flooded and they sell out all their plus size stuff because it happens just for them. Same thing if you were a petite woman, whatever. When you get stuff that fits for you and is designed for you, instead of this one size fits all. Right. That's what we have right now in eye care is a one size fits all. We can alter it. We can edit it. We can try and make it, squeeze it in. And that's not what we want. We want to get everybody to be happy and healthy and be able to see stuff that represents them and get the patients to realize that I see you. Because the hard thing for me is a lot of times people try to say, I don't see color. So I don't want to divvy up my frame boards because I don't see color. And you have to realize is that when you say you don't see color, what we hear is you don't see us. Mm-hmm. And that is a tough part. I want to be seen. I am in color. You can see me. And I want to know that your office sees and understands, because you can see and understand color. And all that means is that you're understanding the differences among us. Because you know what? When we go on vacation to these great islands and these different places, we want to experience their culture. Because we see that there's a difference in them and we want to experience it. There's nothing wrong with experience. That's like going to somebody else's country and saying, I just want the same food I always eat because I don't see differences in food. I only
fries and hamburgers.
Yeah, no, you go there, you want to experience it. You want to feel it. And that's the same thing that African Americans want to know is, do you see me? Do you value me? Do you understand that I am valued? Do you understand that I am important? Do you understand that you should have something for me? The same way I should see you and I should understand the differences. I should see a Caucasian patient in my office and understand that age-related macular degeneration happens more than somebody else. Am I going to say I don't see color, so I'm not going to understand that different happen in different patient populations? No.
Everybody's different.
And there's a difference. So why is it that we do it that way? But if we say at any point, all of a sudden, we say it anywhere that benefits African Americans, all of a sudden it's whoa, that's sensitive. No, we can have a conversation about race without being racist.
Definitely.
We've been talking about race for 45 minutes now, and we haven't said anything racist. Do you believe that? We've been talking for 45 minutes and we got through this whole thing without making one racist comment. No, we talk about race and be cool and come off and be friends and understand that there's differences among us and it's okay.
Definitely.
It's okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I'm just going to give a couple of shout outs here because we have so many people commenting and I really appreciate all of our viewers here. So we've got Molly Williams has commented a couple of times and she just said, yes, so simple with a heart, Adam, to what you were talking about. Sherry Froelich is here. Thanks for joining us. She says, yes, 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 with hands clapping. And we also have Court Essex, who is here joining us. Thank you for joining us. And he says, Eyeglass Boy says hello. So that must be his tag there, Eyeglass Boy. So thanks to everybody for joining us. And I think we'll head into like kind of any final questions or comments, you know, that we have. So if anyone has a question for Adam and Darryl, now please feel free to type it into the comment bar there on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll definitely get to those. But you know, I did just want to point out one more thing, you know, on blackeyecareperspective.com, you do have a great blog. There's a lot of information going up there. So if people want to stay educated and up to date on what you guys are doing, that's a great place to do it. Also, you have social media channels for that as well. And, you know, it just seems like a really great resource. Plus, you can buy the t-shirt, which I think I'm going to go on and get because I'm really liking that shirt.
Yeah,
you guys did a nice job.
We got to get one of those.
We're working on getting a new vendor with COVID-19. Our vendor, they had some issues, so we're trying to find someone right now. But the shirts will be back sooner than later. All right, we've been getting a lot of requests, but
oh, that's great.
About COVID-19, you know.
I'm telling you, it's delayed a lot of things.
Now you've asked us a lot of questions today. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
How can Eye Care Business challenge the industry to make these changes? Because only the ones in power can ask and influence the other ones to do it. So can we get Eye Care Business to request from these vendors, from these others, say, hey, you guys are not sending me, you guys keep sending me the same pictures over and over and over of people that look exactly the same. How can we get because that's really what it's going to take, because me and Darryl can bark and yell and say what we want and use our, my energy, enthusiasm as much as we want. But people like you guys that have these huge platforms are the ones that really are going to make the change. As much as we want to say that we're doing it here, it's going to be us sharing the information with you and your platform and all the other platforms, not just you, but all the other platforms and all the other people of power that are in powerful positions that know everybody. You got everybody in your phone. All the other ones know exactly who to call. But how can we change that dialogue in which the people like you, that you're giving us the opportunity for this platform, which is a great first step. But how do we take that? How do we take that further?
Adam, I think before Aaron even addresses that question is we have to look at the business that she's in. Have you looked at your own business, Eye Care Business? What's going on the executive level there? What's going on the board level there? As far as your writers, what percentage of them are black people? Do you guys reach that 13%? Because again, if you don't have it up top, how is it going to trickle down below in order to make those decisions and those calls? So I ask you, my question is more of what are you guys doing in regards to that within Eye Care Business? That's the $1 million question.
I think it's a great question and a very fair question. And I have kind of a two-pronged answer. So to answer you, Darryl, because that was the most recent question, I want you guys to know that every year we do a Game Changers Award. We award, and it's a Women in Optical Award. We started it, I'm on the board of directors of the Optical Women's Association. I've been very involved and passionate about the organization for many, many years. And it's been an important, and obviously we've made a lot of inroads there. So that's been a real important thing for me. And we've had, these Game Changers Awards every year on Eye Care Business. And I am very proud to say that last year, 3 of our Game Changers were African-American women. And as you both know, there are many amazing African-American women in our industry. on the supply side and as opticians and optometrists. So we are very proud to have honored, I mean, that's 33%. So we're doing pretty good.
I shared that everywhere. I loved all the people on there. I knew them. That was really great.
Hey, you know what? Let's give them some recognition. It was Utility, it was Atiana, and the third one was my colleague
Loretta.
Loretta. Yes,
Loretta Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah, Optical Diva.
Amazing with Optical Diva. Yep, optometry. Yeah.
And it was excellent.
Yep.
Amazing, all amazing women, and thank you for giving them the recognition, and they so deserve it, and really making incredible inroads in our industry, all those women. And and as you know, Darryl, Jen is not African American, but she works with you closely, and she was one of our game changers in the past. So we have really aimed to provide diversity in that awardee list. That was a goal of ours. So we've really focused on that. And I will be, quite frank with you that we do a lot of photo shoots, as I mentioned, and we have aimed to have a lot of diversity in our photo shoots with our models and what we, include there. And we always have an optician on set doing the eyewear fitting. So she's fitting for the bridge of the African American, model. Usually a woman. We usually have female models, but sometimes we'll have male models
too. Now, don't think that dear Darryl can model. Look, Darryl is fitting frame right here. Don't leave us out. We can bring some value to the magazine. Darryl is trying to say the face needs to be in the magazine.
I'm coming to Florida. I have a fantastic photographer in Miami, Adam. We're going to do this thing.
Come on. I'm going to get a new hat for that. If you're going to do that, I get a new hat just for that.
Aaron, I will tell you this. I will give you guys a lot of credit. I call Adam at least once a month, and I open up your magazine, and I'm like, man, this is beautiful. You guys have done an incredible job in regards to the selection of your models and finding the right eyewear to look incredible.
Thank you very much.
I greatly appreciate you guys doing that.
You guys have
to really appreciate that
and shoot the photos yourself. You know why? Because it's tough to find it. If you ask them to give it to you, it'd be tough. So you guys went out and did it yourself. So you answered the question beautifully. So Darryl lines you up, and you give the right answer. You can't.
I will add.
They don't all do that.
I will add to you both that we see every marketing image, we see every press release, we get everything. It's like, 50 a day, we see them. And to be honest with you, I mean, it's maybe not as much as you would hope, but I definitely see more and more diversity in those campaigns. It depends on the company, it depends on the product, it depends on the brand, the collection, but I really feel that there is more and more diversity, and we do see that, you'll see it in the magazine. I mean, we try to, have a very diverse range of Asian, and, because everyone has different patients, right? So we try to have that diversity represented in our mix of what we're featuring for products. But I think that there are some inroads being made on that front. So I wouldn't say, oh, it's a total, wash at this point. I really do believe, and I do believe that as the companies, so to answer your question, Adam, we are very grateful for our platform that we have. We're very honored by that platform that we have at Eye Care Business. And we aim to come at our job from a standpoint of journalism. So, the truth and fairness, and what we do isn't, we don't try to kind of sensationalize things. We try to just report on the facts and also tell the story to educate people. So I think the key is education. I think the key is information. I think the key is the truth, and that is where that change is going to come by sharing that on a continual basis, and getting that message out there by including African American women as your award winners, by including stories of, you've been all over our social media, Adam.
Mhm.
So we're very honored by that, and we want to include a lot of diversity. So I think, and having this conversation here today, I think is really important, and so you can see where we're coming from, for sure.
You guys have been doing it, and I think what I meant by my question was not so much about you guys, which is you answered the question great about what you guys are doing, but the onus that you can put on the other people, the other companies, and to give more of a voice to the African American led companies and frame designers and other things. And when you don't see enough of those, to challenge the Luxotticas and the Marcolins and the Safalos to say, hey guys, where are these frame lines? Where are these frame designers? What's going on over here? Because you guys, they're asking you to market for them. So you have the ability now to then push down market and say, hey guys, you guys keep sending me this. It's great that you're giving me these pictures now, but what about the African-American led companies? Or what about African-American designers? It could be a Luxottica that's not owned by African-Americans, but you can get a designer to help you design the frames. And who better to know how to design Black people's faces than Black people? So
Definitely.
putting that on and saying,
Good point.
Hey, what's going on? And that's where the change is going to happen, because it's going to be difficult for us from the outside to make that change. But the ones that are doing a great job, like you guys are, and giving a voice to those different people and taking your own picture so you can get the diversity that you want, then pushing it onto the other companies, the other executives, and say, hey guys, just want to know if you guys have any plan over here. What's going on over here? Why are you guys not thinking about that? I think that's where we really can make change, and we can really make a difference.
I agree, and I think it's a unifying factor. I think for lack of a better term, we're stronger together, and we can all work on this together. And I think, like you said, it's not going to happen overnight, right? But like anything, it took how many years for women to get to a better position in the industry, but it will happen, as we all work together. I think, that there's a clear path to change, and you guys have really started it and spearheaded it, within this industry. And I'm so inspired and impressed with what you're doing. So thank you for what you do. And, it's going to make our industry a better place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, and I'll just give a couple more shout outs here. We have Molly Williams. She said, this is such an important conversation to have. Thank you so much for this! McMooten, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. He says hello. And Molly Williams says, yes, so simple. And we've got such great comments, and thanks everybody for joining us. Is there anything that I missed that you guys want to kind of wrap up with as we finish?
Well, Adam and I always want to wrap up with saying something. You can't have us on a platform and not let us end the platform. So I'll go ahead and get started, because today is my day to go first and not last. Do you mind, Adam? Is it okay?
Go ahead.
Thank you for giving me the floor. So this is the deal. What we have to realize is that by 2050, 45 to 50% of the United States population are going to be minorities. So in eye care, we have to be prepared for that. We have Asian Fit, but we need to start looking at that Black population, because it is 0.8%. So what are you doing in your practice to really take it to the next level for patient care? We're becoming a big melting pot. So we need to have all the resources, whether it's a frame, whether it's a certain contact lens, whether it's the team members reflecting what patient demographic comes in, whether it's students, whether it's executive level, whether it's the colleges. We need to do better in regards to increasing the amount of minorities in eye care, and in particular, Black eye care professionals. Because the 3% that's been in the industry, that line has been a flat line for numerous years, and we have to do better. And Dr. Adam Ramsey and I are asking you, our colleagues, to work with us together to make a change. And we're not just going to keep creating awareness. We're about action, and we're going to make that happen. But we want you guys to be with us together to make it happen, because as a team, as a unit, not only can we take it to the next level in eye care, but we can spark this for the entire healthcare profession and change the world. So we want you guys to be down with Black Eye Care Perspective. Make sure you follow us online, Black Eye Care Perspective, on all social media handles, from Facebook, Instagram, you name it. And then also check out the website for great resources, great information. And make sure you sign up for that 13% promise as well.
I saw that you can actually go on to there and sign up and enter your email for further information. And we have Sherry Froelich just asking, are there any other websites or social media pages you recommend we follow to be better informed? Obviously, signing up, for the promise and to stay informed there is a great start. Is there anything else that you think is helpful for folks to follow?
I think the main thing is our personal social media accounts, Dr. Darryl Glover, okay. Dr. Adam Ramsey, because we put stuff on those business accounts, but we keep it real intimate and personal with our followers. So we want you to follow us as well. Yeah, and you could get a lot of information, whether it's an event that we're going to speak out, whether it's some content that we're putting out, and always keep in mind, we're going to keep it real and authentic. So, put your emotions to the side and accept us because we're just being ourselves. All right.
Absolutely. Well, we'd love to see as you guys are going to the schools and kind of to keep us updated there, because we'd love to share that information as well. I think that'll be really fascinating to see as you meet with the students and the faculty.
Yep, and I would end with letting them know also, like we said in the beginning of the telecast, the National Optometric Association also has a great history.
Right.
Been around since 1969. That organization got started when African Americans weren't allowed or weren't comfortable into the American Optical Association. So they've been around, they've been doing excellent work, and they continue to do excellent work. So you have Black Eye Care.
Fantastic.
You also have a national organization of that is out there as well, doing great work. And the last thing I'll end with is me and Darryl and all of our other members in Black Eye Care Perspective are here to be a resource. Reach out to us. You know what? It is okay to say, I don't know, but I want to learn more. I am being confronted with the realization of what's going on, and the wool is off of my eyes, and I want to have a real conversation. So we have the Black Eye Care Perspective page that's open, that we're sharing content, sharing dialogue. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us everywhere. But be a resource. You can reach out to us. If you're a company saying, hey, we don't have any African Americans on their board, me and Darryl are saying, hey, we're raising our hand. We want to help increase the bottom line of those organizations. We want to be on there. We want to be the diversity, because you can't say that you couldn't find anybody, because you can find us. You go anywhere, you can find us. So we're saying we're here. We want to be the voice. We want to be the change. We want to be the faces, and we're making ourselves available for the conversations, available for the dialogue, available for the action plans, because the stuff can be done, and we want to help companies implement it, whether it be eye care companies, whether it be somebody's practice that wants to then develop and get more African Americans into their office, whatever it be. Black Eye Care Perspective is here, and we want to be that resource. So you can just raise your hand and say, hey, I don't know what I don't know, but I want to learn more. I want to be there. We can have an honest, easy conversation and just say, hey, let's talk. It's nothing wrong with having conversations, and let's be open and honest and have great conversations and get to know one another and get to know how we can make each other's businesses better, and we can be more enlightened both ways. So we're here for the conversation, and we thank you for having us on your platform. You're giving us all the audience out there. We're loving the conversation. This was great. It's wonderful. You guys have had me on numerous times, and I've always had a great time. And I'm hoping to do another one. We're gonna drop something next month too. You're gonna be something else. We got more coming. I
love it. Well, and that is awesome feedback and a wonderful offer. And I imagine a lot of folks are going to take you up on that. And I think that's, people want to learn and want to do, know how they can get more involved. And that's great to know that you guys are, a resource, and people can contact you to learn more and see how they can help. We had one more comment from Rob Linton. He says, thank you. So thanks for joining us, Rob. We appreciate it. And gosh, I cannot thank you enough, Adam and Darryl. This has been an amazing conversation. It feels like it's been 2 minutes and it's been an hour. And it's really been a very amazing conversation. So together we will all help, encourage change, and you folks are so inspiring. So thanks for doing what you're doing, and keep on doing it.
Yeah. And Aaron, I just wanted to give one last shout out. I really want to thank, of course, Dr. Adam Ramsey for holding me down when I've been low, and holding him down when he's been low. And even when we've been high, we still got to hold each other down. But most importantly, I really want to give a shout out to our group, our closed group of Black Eye Care Perspective, because with them, we're able to take a collective of voices and really take the problems that we have and put it out there. And without that group, we wouldn't be where we are today. So for all our folks that are in the Black Eye Care Perspective group, thank you so much for just being part of the group and making the group stronger, and allowing Adam and I to represent, you know, the Black Eye Care professionals and make a change in this industry. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them because they've done so much to make things grow and move quite fastly, as you have seen. So thank you, Black Eye Care.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It's great to hear you have a great supportive group as well. So we're making progress. Everybody's doing it together.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you guys. We cannot thank you enough. Really appreciate it. So great to get to chat with you, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Yep.
And keep the education going.
All right, thank you.
Aaron, when we get the shirt, we're gonna send one your way, okay? But when you get it, you gotta pop your collar. You gotta have a little flavor with it, all right?
I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna have Adam. Adam's gonna do my styling.
I got you. I got you. We're gonna do it.
I love it.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for joining us, and stay tuned on our Facebook page for more live streams coming soon. We'll be doing them every week or every other week coming up in July here. So we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.